First of all, the word percent means what? Brianna Massey, percent means? There's a key there, per and cent. Cent means, as in cents, huh? Yeah, a centurion, a century. Those are all the word cents there, Keith, are out of 100, yes. Percent means out of 100. Gosh, I swear I just talked to this about someone. Must have been in 5th grade. And if you look at the percent sign, it makes sense because somebody apparently did that. Because if you rearrange this stuff, Hulu and Audio, you get 100. Oh. And somebody must have figured that out. Let's do this here. Now the problem is, some things are easy to change into percents like this. That's not easy to change into percent. 5/20ths. 5/20ths is what percent? Because it's really easy to change that. Percent means out of 100, so you just need to make whatever your top number is your percent. 5/20ths is what out of 100, Jaden?
20.
How many?
20.
Yeah, because you multiply 20 by, and 5 times 5 is?
Oh, 20.
Yeah, 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, so your percent is 25%. Or, how about this? 0.32. What percent is 0.32? And if you don't know, maybe if I said it this way, 32 hundredths is what percent? Laney Kavar?
32%.
32%. And everybody's relatively happy, correct?
Yeah.
That's a relative term. But the problem is, what about this? If you didn't have your fraction circle, and I said, what is 1/3 as a percent? And you didn't know how to do it. Because if you try making this out of 100, 3 doesn't go into 100, what would you do? Alright, back to the boys that raised their hand on this. 1/16, boys, is what is a percent? I have to do some tabulating here, calculating here. 1/16 is what number over 100? 16 doesn't go evenly into 100. You could come close, but what do you do? How can I change 1/16 to a percent? A couple schools of thought. Brianna says,
You divide 1.0 by 16.
okay, one way to do it is what Brianna said. The fraction 1/16 is a division problem. You divide 16 into 1.0. But I'm going to tell you one more way that's easier than all of those. And write these in big letters on your paper. You can make anything a percent by got that down already? You must write a lot faster than I do. Multiplying by, anybody want to finish it? Ooh, Elijah.
10.
No, but that's a good thought. Riley?
By itself?
Let's try that theory. If I have the fraction 1/3, I can make that a percent by multiplying it by itself.
No.
Jaden,
Well, 1 about 100.
close. Multiplying it by, write this down, 100%. And I'll show you the example, write that down. So here we go. Let's look at this. Let's say I have 0.29. I have the fraction 1/16. And I have the number 6. To prove this theory, let's do it. We're going to multiply this by 100%. multiply this by 100%, and multiply this by 100%. Sometimes you don't want to because this takes a little longer. Like the fraction 3/4, you should know it's 75%, so you got it. But 0.29 times 100 is, with the decimal 2 places, it is 29%. That works well. 1/16 times 100%. That one's not going to be as pretty because you have to make it a fraction. What's 1 times 100? 100. 16 times 1 is 16. You're going to have to actually do that division out, which is the same thing that Brianna said. Really, we're doing the same thing as dividing by that. But this will give you the actual percentage. How many times does 16 go into 100? 6, which is what, 96, right? And you end up with 4/16, which is actually 1/4%. 6 1/4%. And 6 times 100% is what? The whole number 6 is what percent? Elijah? 600%. Okay. Now the only time you really are going to use this is when you have a fraction. Because otherwise it's easier. It's easy to change this to a percentage by moving it over. Jade, do you have a question?
Yeah, on 6 1/4, why do you not make that into a decimal?
Usually, the deal is rarely do we ever mix decimals with percents. You could say 6.25% and I would probably take it. But in the real world, usually they go, the only time you see fractional percents is a lot of times if you look at bank mortgage rates or something like that, they'll say the interest rate is 3.5% or whatever it is. Usually when you write it out like that, they give it as fraction form. Usually they don't do this, and I don't know why. You can ask somebody, but I don't know why they don't. Usually they give it in fraction form as a whatever thing. So here we go, one more. 2 1/4 as a percent is, you might be able to do this one in your head, but if you don't know, make this improper. It is 9/4. Multiply it by 100%. And can I cross cancel? Cross cancel. How many times does 4 go into 100? 25 times. And if you have 9/4, how much money do you have? $2.25. Which makes sense because 2 as a percent is 200%, a fourth as a percent is 25%, so put them together you have 225%. I can tell you are very, very, very intrigued by the whole world of percentages. What else did they give you? They don't give anything. I'll give you one more, see if you can do it. What is 5/6 as a percent? 5/6 equals what? Question mark percent. So multiply 5/6 by 100% and tell me what you get as an answer. Your whole homework assignment could be very much based on the answer to this question. One, two, three, magic. Imagine if your coaches all did that. Like by 1, 2, 3 magic. Play defense. 1, 2. Shoot the ball. 1, 2. Have a make a box out. 1. Did we get an answer? If you multiply 5/6 times 100, it really would be 500 divided by 6, correct? And that ended up being what? 4 is 48. 6 goes into 23 times. What do you do with that remainder? 43 what? That I know. They do it on 4, 48, 20, 6 goes into 2018. Oh, what is 8, sorry. That makes sense. 83 what? What fraction goes with it? Yeah, 83 1/3%. That makes sense why you're all staring at me like I was semicolon.